Hello, students. Welcome to Easy Elimu Learning Simplified. I am your teacher, Mr. Stanley Mbogo. Dear students, I believe and trust that you're doing okay wherever you're watching from. Uh, in this session that we are about to have, I'd like us to look at some of the language and style that we have in Ivory Bangles by Eric Ngamayo. So remember, Ivory Bangles is anthologized in the collection or compilation that is a silent song and other stories. So Eric Ngamayo, remember, is a Tanzanian writer. So remember, the book or the anthology carries different authors. It carries various societies across the world. So in Ivory Bangles, we earlier on, that is in the previous video, looked at some of the thematic concepts. So we came across quite a number that were major. You know, the issues to do with love, issues to do with failure to heed to advices, superstitious belief, love, name them. So let us focus in what we have that is at the moment, that is the stylistic devices. So employed in a silent, that is Ivory Bangles, that is anthologized in a silent song and other stories. So the first, that is the first style, dear students, that I want us to discuss is imagery. So remember that imagery is a literary device used in poetry uh, or any other writing that uses, a language that is visually descriptive. So the old man, when we look at that is Ivory Bangles, the old man's wife is described as being emblazoned with ivory, which uses imagery to convey her appearance and the value placed on ivory within the community. So remember, the husband, that is the old man, gifted her with 24 ivory bangles. So that did not only show how much he loves the wife, but it also shows their class, that is their social status in the that is within the community. So another style that again we were also able to identify is symbolism. So symbolism is a literary device that uses symbols. The symbols can be in different or various forms. So they use symbols to represent something beyond the literal meaning. So in the story, we have got the pebbles that are used by the seer. So we are told that the pebbles used by the tribal seer to predict the death of someone could be seen as a symbol of the seer's spiritual powers and the connection to the supernatural. So the pebbles are symbolically used. So there is also another style that is still under imagery. Remember, imagery has a number of again styles under it. That is a subcategory. So personification is that is when an animal or a thing uh, or maybe an idea is given human qualities. So the injured elephant. Remember the injured elephant in the story. So we are told that the wounded elephant is described as madly trumpeting, which personifies the animal and gives it a sense of urgency and emotion. So when we talk about emotion, that is being mad. When we talk about an animal being mad, something of the sort. So there is also hyperbole. That is hyperbole is exaggeration, sometimes an overstatement. So the old man in the story, the old man is described as a very brave warrior, which could be seen as an example of exaggeration to emphasize his bravery. That is, remember, killing an elephant. And again, also remember that to get the ivory that was used to make the ivory bangles, it means that an elephant was killed somewhere, and that is why at the end, that is another elephant, that is the injured elephant, retaliates and finally kills the old man's wife. So that also talks about the conflict, or we can call it human and wildlife conflict. So allow me also talk about metaphor, that is a comparison of two things that aren't alike. So the old man's wife is described as being that is being being a girl when she smiles. So using a metaphor to compare her appearance or demeanor to that of a young girl. So there is also the use of female. So we are told that the old man's muscles are described as being like dogs with bared teeth. So using female to convey the tension or the tenseness his uh, of his muscles. So we can also talk about remember, simile is the use of like or as. So when we talk about another example, I think we can also talk about that is the old man's wife being described like a girl. That is when she smiles. So there is like in that statement, and I think that also make it qualify for female. So we also have onomatopoeia. So this is one way that an author or writer uh, can use to describe sounds in a poem. So it is a word that looks like the sound that is made, and we can almost hear those sounds as we read. So there are some words that are used as examples of onomatopoeia. So we have the words slam, splash, bum, bubble, wobble, gaggle, marble, and belch. So those words indicate or describe sounds as used by the writer. So the sound of the old man's wife, that is the old man's wife's bangles, is again described as clanking softly. So that is again using onomatopoeia to convey the sound of the bangles. So there is also another style that we cannot forget to talk about, that is foreshadow. So remember, it's a literary device that gives an indication or a hint of what is to come later, that is in the story. So the prediction of someone's death by the tribal seer foreshadows the death of the old man's wife later in the story. That is when she is killed by the elephant and later found in a shallow grave. So we also have use of irony, that is uh, two opposite things. So maybe when someone's in a story says something that is maybe the opposite of what they mean. So the old man's wife planned to go to her brother's house and seek that is mediation after being beaten by her husband, is described as a way uh, to fool the spirits, which could be seen as ironic because she ultimately dies despite her efforts to appease the spirits and avoid death. So it is ironical that the old man's wife uh, comes up with a lie to appease the spirit, but she dies later on. So there is also use of suspense. So when we talk about suspense in the story, the description of the movement of the elephant herd and the warnings from the scouts create a sense of suspense and tension. So as the reader is left wondering where the elephants will go next and whether they will cause anyhow. So, dear students, before we come to the end, let us also look at flashback. So flashbacks are also that is evident in the story. So the story includes a brief flashback to the old man's past. That is when he was made a counselor by the chief and was asked to take another wife. So this adds context and background to the old man's character and his relationship uh, with the chief. So that marks the end, dear students. Thanks for watching and keep it easy. Elimu. Until next time. Bye.